It's now official, Deathstroke will appear as the primary villain in Ben Affleck's upcoming solo Batman movie. But so what, the uninitiated might say. He's just some generic assassin guy, no big deal, right?
Wrong!
It is a big deal. It is a very big deal. Deathstroke is not just some run-of-the-mill comic book bad guy. There's a reason why fans have been itching to see this guy in a movie for such a long time. Timestamps in the description below if you're looking for specific information about the character and you want to skip, but let me tell you who Deathstroke is. Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson. His origin sounds a little bit like a twisted version of Captain America. He was the best soldier in the army, he was chosen to get a super soldier serum that boosts his strength, speed, agility and reflexes, but after he disobeyed audiences to save an old friend that was captured by the enemy, he was thrown out of the army, so he became a mercenary and an assassin for hire, always keeping a strict code of conduct to never reveal who hired him for a job. This became a problem when his son was kidnapped and threatened with death if Slade Wilson did not reveal the name of one of his employers. And with a knife held to his son's throat, he said no, and his son's throat was cut from ear to ear. Slade Wilson was able to save his son's life, but his son was rendered mute from his injuries. When his wife found out, she was so enraged that she shot him in the back of the head, but his enhanced reflexes enabled him to dodge the bullet just enough to survive, but it ended up shooting his right eye out. That's why Deathstroke wears an eye patch when he's not in costume, and why his mask doesn't have an eye hole on the right side, because he doesn't have an eye there. So as you can see, he, like Batman, has quite a bit of trauma in his past, but unlike Batman, his has come because of his actions and his code of conduct, not in spite of them. Now, because of his popularity, he got his own spin-off comic book series, and he has appeared in Arrow, he's been a regular villain for Nightwing, and Robin in the Teen Titans animated show. And because of his popularity, Marvel decided to blatantly rip him off and also make fun of him at the same time by creating Deadpool. Even giving Deadpool the name Wade Wilson as a jab that he might somehow be related to Slade Wilson. He's a mercenary, uses swords, has a healing factor, just like Deathstroke, more on that in a minute. And the whole reason that Deadpool is the only character who actually understands he's in a comic is because he was created to rip on the competition. But Deathstroke was not actually the character's original name. He was originally called the Terminator, but they changed it to Deathstroke after the movie came out to avoid any confusion. So as mentioned, since Deathstroke has had a lifetime of training both in the military and out of it, he can be called Batman's physical equal. However, he also gets an additional boost from the super serum which he got, which gives him the advantage over Batman. This is why when the two of them first met, he beat Batman to a bloody pulp in a show of force. His strength is said to be the equivalent of 10 men, so Batfleck better make sure his body armor is up to scratch. However, the serum also enhanced his brain, specifically the speed that his mind can process information. So what that means in a fight is it gives him an almost uncanny ability to calculate and predict his opponent's moves. The best example of this is when he succeeded in tripping the world's fastest man, the Flash. Later he did this again, basically impaling Flash on his sword. And later down the track, Deathstroke eventually got the ability to regenerate from an injury, which they also gave Deadpool. However, Deathstroke's healing factor is nowhere near as quick or as fast as Deadpool's is. An injury that would kill like a normal man, Deathstroke can heal from, but it will take him a few days. And it also takes a mental toll on him. Intense recovery like that will actually send him insane for a period of time. So his healing factor, it is a massive advantage, but it does come at a price. Another interesting ability that Deathstroke has is because of being a similar height and body type to Batman, as well as having similar combat and stealth skills, he has actually impersonated Batman a few times. So don't be surprised if in this upcoming movie, Batman takes off his cowl and it turns out it's Slade Wilson impersonating Batman. But Deathstroke being such a match for Batman should lead to a really unique showdown, unlike any we've seen in a live-action Batman movie before. before. Because what we've seen so far is that Batman is often the physical superior of his opponent, so it's not usually a fair fight. And even when Batman has faced those who were supposed to outmatch him, it never really seemed like that spectacular of a fight to watch, just your basic meat and potatoes punching. But if they get some really good fight choreographers, we could get something truly amazing here, like a Jason Bourne level of like lethal fighting, but with Batman's grittiness. I can't wait, I really want to see that. Now the reason that a lot of fans loves Deathstroke so much is that he's always a wild card. Whenever he's introduced in the story, he's a wild card. Because while he is a villain and he does do some truly horrific things at times, he's still a mercenary, so he'll side for just whoever's paying. This has led to some occasions where he might be working for a villain, but Batman, rather than fight him, will just simply pay him off, just pay him more money so that he'll just walk away. Other times though, Deathstroke has willingly sided with the good guys if he believes it's in his own best interests. In the Forever Evil storyline, he was working for the Syndicate, who was trying to take over the Earth, but Lex Luthor convinced him that if the Syndicate does take over, it's going to be bad news for everyone, so Deathstroke switched sides, and he, Lex Luthor, and Batman all teamed up to defeat them. The point is, you never know which side of the fence Deathstroke is going to land. Just because he will be going up against Batman in this upcoming movie does not necessarily mean that it will end with the two of them still being enemies. The relationship between these two has always kind of been more of one of professional rivalry rather than a personal enemy. But since he's a mercenary, him taking on Batman in the upcoming movie means that someone must be paying him to do so. Who could it be? You know, is it Joker? Is he hiring Deathstroke to keep Batman busy while he plots something else? Maybe it's Amanda Waller. She and Bruce Wayne did sort of lock horns in Suicide Squad. Interestingly, in the Infinite Crisis storyline, Lex Luthor put together a secret society of supervillains to combat the Justice League, and Deathstroke was the first and founding member of that Lex Luthor picked. So perhaps while Batman is recruiting for the Justice League, Lex is doing a bit of recruiting of his own, starting with Deathstroke. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But there is still so much more about Deathstroke that I can't fit into this short video. So put in the comment section any important information that I left out, and I hope I've demonstrated to some of the uninitiated viewers what a big deal Deathstroke is and how unique this combination of characters has the potential of being. So, I am Bandit, this is Bandit Incorporated. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments. This is a special message from a DC fan to Warner Brothers, the company putting together the DC Cinematic Universe. This is not a rant video, it's not me trolling Warner Brothers or anything like that. This is just me as a fan genuinely trying to give constructive criticism to help Warner Brothers better gauge what the fans want. Because now that Suicide Squad is the third DC movie in a row that is certified rotten, even though I don't think it should, I think it's completely unfair that it gets that score. It's nowhere near as bad as the critics pretend, but it's undeniable that Warner Brothers is in real trouble with the DCU. Something is not right here. And it seems to me that a lot of the issues that are getting in the way of DC's success stem from the same source.